changing? Are you updating your website's look and feel? Again, this is kind of part of being stale and adding new content, but you've got to make sure that you continuously stay fresh in the minds of your customers. Is your content up to date? Is it relevant? Is it hitting what you've updated in terms of your knowledge and staying ahead of the curve? Are you staying ahead of the competition? So make sure that your business stays fresh and keep these points in mind for your future success, because it really is very important to make sure that you are flexible and adaptable to your market. So how do we understand the ever-changing customer? Well, meeting customers' needs can be very difficult, and the difficult part is actually understanding your customer. Now, some companies spend millions of dollars to do this. They have case studies, they have closed session kind of testing and all sorts of kind of crazy stuff. But luckily, as an online entrepreneur, you do not have to do this, because market research is essential to our success, but there are many, many tools online to help you do that. And you have to understand, like I've said, who your customer is and how do they find you. Now, this is an interesting little aspect that you really need to understand. And you can do this with your web stats or all sorts of other online tools that we'll not really get into here, because we're not focusing on telling you how to do this. We're telling you why you should do this and what you need to consider. The actual exact processes we cover in our membership section on themanicmarketer.com. So I'm not getting to that right now. But you have to understand who your customer is and how they find you, and who your competition is and how do they do better than you, and what do you do that's better than them. Now, this is kind of like getting what's called a USP, a unique selling perspective and unique selling point, and there's all sorts of variations on the same damn thing. But basically, you have to find your place in the market and how you differ from your competition, how your competition differs from you. Now, if they're doing something better than you, obviously you need to improve that area. And what do you do better than them? Well, this is a kind of a sneaky kind of mindset tactic. Is whatever you do better than them, do it better still. That way they're always playing catch up. And you have to also understand is where your market is going. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, again, this is kind of where the customer's going, where the industry's going. It's like that river. I'm going to use that river analogy throughout this. You have to try and predict where the next turn is. If you've already gone left, maybe the next turn's going to go right. Or maybe you're going to go in a complete bloody circle. It doesn't matter. But try and predict where your market is going so you can be flexible enough to adapt. If your competition is starting to really pump some money into marketing, it's a warning sign. See what you need to do to either stay ahead or catch up. Now, paying attention pays the bills in the long run. Now, what does that mean? Well, paying attention to your market is essential. Never assume anything. Invest time in yourself and stay ahead in the market. And you can always hire out if you need help in this regard with market research and stuff like that. There's plenty of market research companies out there, and if you get a little lost in understanding the dynamics of the market and your customer and everything else, hire an outside firm. There's plenty out there, and they can be they can be a very valuable resource to your business. Now, I do suggest you do this yourself, because it is a very good skill to have. And there are plenty of books, and we've got plenty of stuff on market research inside the Manic Marketer membership section. But it's really essential that you try and do this yourself. Now, if you don't have time, if you really can't get your head around it, then get an outside firm. But please give it a shot yourself and try to do what you can do to understand your market and do all of this yourself. But encourage feedback from your customers where possible. Now, like I said earlier on, your customers are one of your best marketing tools. They will tell you whether they like you. They will tell you whether they don't like you. They will tell you what they liked about your service or what they found, off-putting. Maybe you've got an e-commerce store and you're selling physical products online. They will tell you about your checkout process, what confused them. Take that feedback and use it, and reward customers with prompt feedback and suggestions. Now, you may run surveys. You've probably seen, if you've ever been on a live chat session with some companies, at the end of the chat session, they pop up a little survey about how you like the technician that you're working with or something like that. But reward customers, maybe a gift certificate, maybe a discount coupon on a future purchase. You create then a friend for life. You create a revolving customer who gives you a little bit of feedback, and you've rewarded them. They feel good about giving you feedback. You've given them, hey, a 5% discount on the next purchase. That's not much money out of your pocket because the information they gave you is gold dust. So your paying customers are one of your greatest resources. So keep that in mind. And through all of this, be adaptable, learn your business, learn the industry, understand who your customers are, and what they can do for you to help you adapt for the future. Now, are you a trend follower or a trend setter? This is a very important question to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself how this affects your business model, and do others already look to you as a leader in your industry? Now, being a follower is a lot harder because you have to catch up with a leader all the time, and you have to hope there's enough room behind the leader with their particular market share for you to start making and continuing to make money. Now, if you can redefine your business and set the lead and become a leader, you're in much better shape, because being a successful online entrepreneur gives you the flexibility to push these frontiers. Now, bear this in mind. If you can set the lead, you will succeed. Everyone else is going to have to then try and play catch up with you. However, that being said, you have to stay in the lead, because if you get lackadaisical about any of this, they're going to catch up with you, they're going to overtake you, and then you're the one who has to catch up. So while you're in much better shape to make profit, you have to stay ahead. And that means continuously pushing the frontiers as a successful online entrepreneur. Developing long-term trends to boost business. Well, first of all, understand that all trends come and go. So you have to be very picky about which trends you want to follow as a business. And I'll give you a prime example. I'm an 80s kid. And one of the hottest trends from when I was a kid was the Rubik's Cube. Now, if you weren't around then, if you're younger than me, you'll at least have heard of the Rubik's Cube, and I'll tell you, everyone had one. You couldn't go every street corner, someone was trying to do the bloody Rubik's Cube. You go into a fast food restaurant, people are eating their Big Macs and stuffing their face with fries while trying to do the Rubik's Cube. It was insane. It was a very, very hot trend, and it died off pretty quickly. So anyone who was invested in distributing them, that trend disappeared pretty quick. So you have to be very, very picky about which trend you go after if you want to have long-term